everyone, I hope you're well. Welcome back to my channel and welcome for those that are new. My name is Jay and this is the StitchyJam knitting and sewing podcast, and this is episode number 22. I'm coming to you from Sydney, Australia, in a place called Penrith, which is about an hour outside of the city. I live at home with my mum and my 2 cats, and this podcast is all about knitting, sewing. I talk about some books sometimes. I talk about a little bit of life and everything crafty in between. So grab your cup of tea. In this episode, I'll be talking about the progress I've made on a book, and if I recommend reading it or not. I am going to update you on my arm, and guess what? The good news, even though it's been slow, even though it hasn't been a lot, I have been able to knit and I've been able to sew. So I've also got a few things to show you that I've been creating, which is, after 6 weeks, I think it is just exciting. It might have been 4 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks of not being able to do anything. I've got some acquisitions and just some sewing plans, and I have a finished object. So if you're interested in knitting and sewing and you would like to stick around and listen to what I'm going to have a little chat to you, then yeah, let's hang out and you sip on your tea and pick up your knitting and sit down and relax, and I'll chit chat about you, what's been going on. So so I haven't filmed in a couple of weeks because I didn't really have anything to show you, given that I couldn't really do anything. So I've put a couple of shorts up, and I just thought, rather than come to you every week and not really have anything to update you with, I'd leave it a couple of weeks and see where we were at. So the arm's progressing well. I've just got this brace on because I've just been vacuuming the lounge room, and although I'm using my right arm, I just didn't want to risk injuring myself while I was doing that. So yeah, things are progressing well. The physio has upped my weights, which I think I spoke about in the last episode, and I have a review with her on Friday. So for those that are new here, I've got tendinitis in my elbow, and as a result I have tennis elbow as well, which I thought they were the same thing, but apparently it's 2 different things. So yeah, that's been a bit challenging, especially when I'm a crafty, creative person like yourself, and I haven't been able to do anything. But I have been reading a lot, and I spoke last episode, about a book I'm reading, which is this one, which is by Jenny Colgan. It's called Sunrise to the Sea, and she's a Scottish writer. I discovered her through watching YouTube and a slow Scottish tiny house living, which is something that appeals to me. I've got Scottish blood, what can I say? And so now I am probably about just over halfway, and it's honestly, like, I read a book of hers before which was good, but this one's even better. And it's about a girl that moves to west coast, well, Cornwall, and without giving anything away, she suffers from agoraphobia, and so she moves and she sets herself up thinking that she's going to have a quiet life, and she does, but obviously small town by the sea screams community, and when you are unable to leave your house, you can't really get involved in the community. And so a few things happen along the way, and yeah, some positive things come out of it. So I won't give too much away, but I do recommend that you read it. It's very good. It's a light read. If you need something to escape into, definitely recommend that one. while we're on the theme of books, before I get into the knitting and sewing, I have two more that I've acquired. Vivi from What Vivi Did Next. I really like her podcasts or vlogs. I get the two confused. To me, a podcast is listening to music. Listening to, like, listening audio. And a vlog would be something like this. But in the knitting community, we call this a podcast, and a vlog is sort of a little bit different. That's my understanding. If I'm wrong, please correct me. Anyway, her vlog is a vlog because it's not about knitting. I digress. So Vivi was talking about this book called A Farmer's Diary, A Year at the High House Farm. And I love the book jacket artwork. I love everything about farming. I am obsessed with animals. And so I thought, I listened to her review and I thought, right, I'm going to give that a go. So it's basically people that run a farm in the UK writing a diary about their everyday life on the farm. So I'm really looking forward to starting that. And because I didn't want to pay for shipping, I didn't want to pay for shipping for just one thing. I also got another one called Raining Sideways, a Devonshire Diary of Food and Farming. So this one's by Sally Vincent, and this one's by Sally Irwin, and they're pretty similar, I would say, but I'll tell you once I've read them which one I like best. This one, the lady left London and moved to Devon for a quieter life. And in this one, it doesn't say, it's just got a few journal entries. Here we go. They own a house in Northumberland. So one is in the north and one is in the south. I imagine that they have similar crossovers and yet like different weather and all of those things. So I will get stuck into those and let you know. Knitting. So I have a pair of socks on the go for my best friend, but I've lost her foot measurements and she hasn't had the time to pass those on to me yet, so they're on hold. I started a few weeks back, or a couple of months ago now, a pair of socks that I've been showing you the progress over time, and it got held up due to tendonitis. However, sock number 1 is finally finished. So this is 64 stitches. Yep. And on 2.5mm needles, 64 stitches. It's 4-ply sock yarn. The main color is rainbows and sprinkles. The colorway I'll put down below because I can't remember. And the contrast color I don't have a label for, but that's some woolly wool, still sock yarn though. That I raided from my mum's stash actually. And so as you can see, there's number 1 done. I'm experimenting with some different stitches. So the pattern for this is my favorite vanilla sock. However, I've made a little bit of an adjustment. I'm just experimenting with some design. I don't need to add sock designer onto my list of things, and I may or may not. But it's always nice, even just for yourself, to experiment with a few things. So there's that finish sock, and I have also cast on sock number 2. So this is good news. I'm back knitting, even though it's only a few lines a day. We all have to start somewhere, and I'm super excited about that. I do have this test knit that where are we? I'd have about 6 weeks to do it, 4 weeks. Let's call it 4 weeks. It's the one I had to start over. which if you watch a few episodes ago where I talk about all my whips, I go into more detail about that. So I'll put that link in the description box and you can go and check it out if you feel like it. But essentially it's a vest, and it's by Journey Through Yarn has written the pattern, and I have been doing that, and then that I made some mistakes, I had to start over, and then the arm hurt. So I'm not going to put pressure on myself because I am literally able to do a couple of lines a day. I don't think I'm going to have time to do it now, but you never know. Never say never. So that's all my knitting at the moment. While we're on the theme of knitting, I'll talk about my acquisitions because they are mostly knitting related, and the last one is some fabric, which will then lead nicely into sewing. And then if you're only here for the knitting, then you can skedaddle. But if you're here because you like all things creative, well then you can sit and chill and watch the rest of the episode. I don't know what's going on for you guys, but I've had a pretty good week, couple of weeks. My mood's been up and down because of my injuries. But overall things are on the up, which is nice. And I'm starting to think about Christmas. And you know, what are we in now? The end of September. And so even though realistically it's a bit early to think about Christmas, when you're doing creative things, I don't think it's too early at all. I've got plans to make a kid-sized pair of Christmas socks. So, you know, I don't think that will take me very long, but good to start thinking about it now. And I'd like to make myself another pair of Christmas socks. Again, that may be something that gets done over December, like I did last year for Vlogmas, and you know, I don't know. But first stage, finish this pair of socks. Second stage, have a look at the test knit, see if I can realistically manage that or not. Then we start on the Christmas gift knits. And in the middle of all that, I've parked my project bags for the Australiana themed. They're going to wait till next year. And I've started on the Christmas project bags. So yeah. So thinking of Christmas, I was looking at West Yorkshire Spinners Signature Sparkle. I really, it's my favorite wool that I've knit with so far. The pair of socks I made last year for Christmas, they're just such good quality. The fabric is just really sturdy, and yet they're comfortable and soft. They're warm. They're not pilling. You know, I can't speak highly enough about West Yorkshire Spinners yarn. So I had a look at their colorway for this Christmas, which is called Mulled Wine. And I was lucky that I could find some here in Australia. I managed to source it from a company called Skein Machine. They're based in Adelaide in South Australia, and they sent me this cute little Christmas stocking as a stitch marker along with the wool that I bought from them. And I think it's nice that I was able to support a small business as well. And I believe that they still have a few left if you're interested. So while I was there, I bought 2 of the Mulled Wine Signature Sparkle. And I don't think I can get very close to my camera. I'm trying a new setup today. I want to have everything in. I'm really experimenting with my videos. I have a look at the numbers on my videos just for, you know, what do you call it? Curiosity. And I can't figure out why some do well and some don't. So I'm just trying something new and having a wider view So in terms of having a look at this, I can bring it up closer. And if that doesn't really show up, I'll put a picture in as well. Or you can just have a Google and have a look. But that's mulled wine, and yeah, it's really pretty. I can't wait to use it. So while I was going to get those, I also got some holly berry. I've seen it knit up, and it knits up really pretty. And I've just recently, I think maybe that you've seen me in my new overalls, or at least I've shown you a photo. If not, I think it's on my Instagram. But I got some passion fruit cooler as well, which goes perfectly with my new overalls. So I'm gonna probably make socks out of that as well. And if not, maybe like a hat and mittens, something so that I can wear them with those overalls. I think it would be really pretty. So they're my acquisitions yarn wise. I did buy something else, but I can't show you that because it's for someone for Christmas. It's always the danger of talking too fast or going too slow on these videos. I watch a lot of YouTube and other people doing YouTube, and some people go far too slow and some people go far too fast. So I'm trying to get that happy medium. Without the video going for far too long. So these two are not an acquisition, they're not new. However, I was thinking to do a shawl. I don't know which shawl. If you've got any suggestions, let me know. But I thought that these two colorways would go really nice together to have like a contrast in there. So this one is Wild Super Soft Sock. It is 75%, 75% nylon merino and 25% nylon, and then the 75% wool and 20% nylon. So I think they'll go really well together. This one's Fibre Lily, which is an Australian-based yarn supplier, and then you've got your West Yorkshire Spinners, which is what I got when I was actually in the UK last year. And I just think they're so pretty and go really well together, and so I'd like to make a shawl with those. So that's it. Oh, I was going to say that's it for the knitting, but it's not. Because I have done a couple of lines of my Voyager's Comfort Wrap by Samantha Renwick. She's a Yorkshire-based knitting designer. She's got a few shawl patterns and other patterns. She's just released a new one, I'm sure. And she's a really good designer. It's a nice pattern, it's easy to read, it's easy to get through. So I've actually put a progress marker in this time. It's not very much progress. It's like 2 lines. However, 2 lines is better than no lines, right? And that is it for the knitting. I can tell you though, it's so hot and it's only spring that socks really are the thing that is going to be knit at the moment. And perhaps maybe if I am healed even further in the next few weeks, I'll be able to cast on the spring summer top that I have on my list. I just don't want to get ahead of myself. Slow and steady wins the race. So on a fabric note, I have bought this, I want to say linen, but it's not, cotton piece from my local fabric shop. I went in there the other day to get a few things. I got some ribbon, Christmas ribbon to put in the project bags. There's some buttons here. Sorry for the crinkling. They are predominantly all the same, just different sizes. And I thought next year I might try my hand at making some myself because they're out of that Fimo. I don't think they'd be difficult to make. So there's maybe 20 in there. And then the ribbon is going to go in the top of the project bags. I do have some plain, but I thought it might be nice to add in a bit of Christmas cheer to those. And I found this beautiful fabric. It's blue and it's striped. I don't know about this way or this way. What I like to make out of it is a tank top. So I've been looking around at a few patterns. There's quite a lot of free patterns out there. There's some that look really good that are paid. I haven't decided which pattern I'm going to use yet. I've seen a few that other sewers on YouTube have made that are really nice. If I can though, I'd really like to, if I'm going to buy a pattern, I'd like to support someone local. And the nicest one I've found so far, she's Canadian. And while I am happy to support anyone from the world, I'm just going to have a look first to see if there's anyone nearby that I can do that, or make my own. I haven't really decided yet. So that's going to be a top. That's going to be a tank top. I've also cut out a pile of circles. Why, do you ask? So these are all Christmas fabrics. I'm trying to use up scraps. And these pieces were not big enough to make into project bags. And I've always wanted to learn how to make Suffolk puffs. And I had hoped that today I would get to you and say, look, I can make Suffolk puffs. However, I got distracted making something else, and I will make these and they'll be ready hopefully in time for my next episode. But the pile of circles is ready, and I'm going to learn how to make Suffolk puffs, and I'm going to learn how to make them. I'm going to add some to the project bags that I'm making for you guys for Christmas. Speaking of which, so a couple of episodes ago, I showed you the sock size material inspo that I'm going to use for the Christmas bags this year. And since then, I also remembered that I had 4 panels of Santas, vintage Santas, that I bought secondhand. And I thought, oh, I've remembered about those, so I want to use those as well. And so I've got them ready, I cut them out, and I've ironed them on. I still got to do some blanket stitch around there. However, there will only be 4, so it'll be really limited edition. So we got this one. And then a lovely blue. Father Christmas, Santa, Saint Nick, Santa Claus, Santa Claus. I just think they're so beautiful. I'll probably keep one for myself, maybe. No, I won't. I'll sell them. If they don't sell, I'll keep one for myself. And then the traditional green, before Coca-Cola got their mitts into it. I don't know, can I say Coca-Cola on here? How about I say Coke? Hopefully I can say Coke. No, I can't even say that, can I? I might have to beep that out. I'll try loading it. If I get flagged, I don't know what happens. I've never been flagged. Maybe I'll cut that part out. Anyway, the green Santa Claus, pre-brown fizzy drink era. All right, let's hope I remember to cut that out. So finally, I have a finished object, which I haven't had a finished object in a very long time. And I'm sure you're thinking, Jay, your ADHD's amped up. I see one sock here, one sock there, a few lines here. You've got whips here, whips there, sewing projects half finished. Yes, I do. However, I do now have a finished object. However, in saying that, I did finish my vest, and you've seen that. Are you ready for it? Here it is. For a while now, I've been really wanting to make myself somewhere to put my needles and my stitch cutter, my scissors, my chalk pen. And my mum, she's got this little, about half this size book that she made when she was in school out of fabric. And I've been in the back of my head wanting to make this for ages. And I woke up this morning ready to make Suffolk puffs, and boom, instead I made this. So I shall open it. I'm so proud of myself. Are you ready? Look how cute it is. So we've got a little place here for scissors and the stitch cutter and the chalk pen, and then I've added a few buttons in just to give it a bit of oomph, and yeah, really just got creative and let my hair down with that one. So yeah, I'm in love with it. Isn't it cute? And it's like just nice, and everything's in one place, and it's like good quality, thick, and best of all, it was made by me, and it's unique and one of a kind. And I really enjoyed doing it, and it was nice after weeks and weeks and weeks of not being able to do anything to just have a little project like this and to be able to finish it. So yeah, I'm really chuffed by that. It's got, I've just realized it probably needs that to be trimmed, but aside from that, it's done and dusted. Anywho, that's it from the crafty angle. Don't really have anything else to say, do I? I've been getting a bit of imposter syndrome doing these videos. I try very hard not to compare myself with other people, but when you're creative and you see, you know, someone put a new video up and they just instantly get thousands and thousands of views and followers and mentions and things like that, then it gets a little bit disheartening. And then you see other people that, like myself, have been putting out videos time and time again, and they don't get very many views. And I know it's to do with the algorithm and it isn't to do with me, and I understand that from a logic point of view. And I wasn't going to make this video today because I thought, well, what's the point? No one's seeing it. But I'll tell you exactly what the point is, and I'm sorry if I've talked about this before, because I probably have, is that I enjoy doing it. And as long as I enjoy doing it and I put it out there and it's a record for me at the end of the day, I'm going to look back on these one day. I'm going to say, wow, look at what I achieved. And how clever am I? And how brave am I for putting it out there into the public arena? And if only one person sees this video, that's all the appreciation I need. Because at the end of the day, I'm not doing it for everyone else, I'm doing it for me. And those moments that I do get disheartened, I just have to remind myself of that. It's a little bit like what I was saying to my mum today. We live in this world where everything online is instant and in your face and takes this amount of time and is really quick. Everything's quick, fast paced, right? And there is a slow movement, people wanting to slow down, people wanting to get back to nature, people wanting to get back to slow stitching, people wanting to make their own things. You know, why? Because as human beings, we need to have that slow pace to really nurture ourselves, our soul and nature. It's why there are so many of us going back to things like knitting, sewing, spinning, gardening, anything that we can use our hands, because we get overwhelmed by this fast-paced cyber world that we all are intertwined with. Here I am, sat here talking to my camera. Okay? We're all intertwined with it, getting the balance. But when you're looking at a video on Instagram and you're watching someone make something and you're getting inspired by it, which is wonderful, you've got this unrealistic view on how much time it takes to make something. And I think that's why people are getting disheartened, makers, with, you know, the amount of people saying, well, why can't, you know, I had a friend ask me to make them a beanie and I told them how long it would take. Oh, why is it going to take that long? People have an unrealistic view on how long things take to make. So when you're feeling disheartened because something like this has taken you 5 hours to make, no, something like this has taken you 5 hours to make, and look how good it is. And the experience and the slowness of that, it made me turn my head off from anything else that I'm worrying about. You know, my arm, how my arm's affecting my job, you know, down the rabbit hole, you know. It brings me back, it grounds me. And I think that's the same with this video making. It's creative, it's part of my creativity. So if I switch off the noise that it's not good enough, or it's not fast enough, or it's not growing fast enough, or I'm not making fast enough, we're all going to have that voice in our head because we're projected constantly that everything needs to be quick and everything needs to be big. And it doesn't. And I think that's a good self-reminder and a reminder to you to just breathe, be in the moment with your creations. Don't compare yourself to other people. You might knit one thing in the entire year, but you know what? That thing that you knit brought you joy, every stitch, every moment. And that is why we're creating. The whole reason I learned how to knit was to get off my phone. And I've noticed the difference, I have, because with this injury and not being able to knit as much, I've been back on my phone and it's made a big difference to my mental health. And so I think it's important to take stock of those things, because it's important. It's really important as a human to really connect with the things that we're doing. And I know I'm not alone in this. There's tens of thousands of YouTube creators that speak about the same things, and how nice that we have a community of like-minded people that can really appreciate handmade, hand sewn, back to nature, you know, all the things that historically and in our DNA will be there and we're tapping into. And yeah, sure, there's a place in the world for community online, and there's even a place in the world for AI, although I think it's a bit crazy. But back in the day when TV didn't exist, they probably thought that was crazy. So there is a place for everything, but I think getting the balance, like anything, is really important. And that's me off my soapbox. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you being here. Please, if you watch this video, put a little comment in there. I'd love to know who's watching. I'd love to, you know, I have people tell me, oh, your video was great, really loved it. I didn't know you watched it. Leave me a comment, say hi. Hit that like button if you're shy. And if you could, hit the subscribe button and put your little subscription bell on. You'll know the next time I put a video up. And it'll be ready there waiting for you and your cup of tea and your knitting. And until then, you have a good week or a good fortnight. We'll see when I get back here. I'll aim for next week, definitely. And if not, I'll put a reel up and I'll put a post up and I'll let you know. Oh, that's the other thing before I go. There's a community here on YouTube. I put posts up and I've started doing that. So if you didn't know about that feature, there's like a community tab. So you can go and see some posts that I've put up, and you're allowed to comment and reply on there as well. So thank you so much. I'm really grateful for you being here. Peace, love, and Zen. I'll see you next time. Bye.